Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video, I'm going to be listing off, in my opinion, the top 10 most underrated Iron Maiden songs. Now, these are just going to be songs that don't really get a lot of attention for some reason. But yeah, so with that, let's begin. At number 10 is the song Total Eclipse. Total Eclipse was a song that was on the original US release of Number of the Beast. It was not on the original UK one, but it was originally on the US version. Total Eclipse was also featured on the B-side of the Run to the Hill single. Or was it the Number of the Beast single? I think it was Run to the Hill single, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's a really good song. But just gets overlooked because it was one of those 3 songs that was taken off later releases of its album. So yeah, it's a really good song. Also, it was played live. It was performed live once during the tour for the Number of the Beast album. In fact, I have a poster over there, but you can't see it. It was actually they actually performed that song live. I haven't found any other video or audio to suggest they played that song ever again. So yeah, it's just a really good song. It's sort of a slower paced song, but it does have a very heavy atmosphere. It's basically the song "Children of the Damned" but better. It's basically a "Children of the Damned" type song, but just done way better. But yeah, that's at number 10. At number 9 is Sanctuary. This song was originally featured on the US release of their first album, Iron Maiden. But then, like with Total Eclipse from Number of the Beast, was taken off of later releases. This is a song that was also a single. This is not a B-side single, this is the main single. I also really love that artwork too. Not a big fan of the color palette, but the artwork itself is pretty good. This is, I wouldn't say one of my favorite Paul Di'Anno era songs, but it is still a really good song, say, for the, weird mid-section where the song kind of stops for a bit, then starts up again. I'm not really a big fan of that kind of thing, where in songs, sometimes where the song just stops for however long and then starts up again. Sometimes when it's done very tastefully, like with this song, it's done, it's done pretty well, but a lot of times it just really hampers the effect of the actual song itself. But yeah, they did a pretty good job with that sort of thing with the song. And when they play it live, it's really cool. I don't think they've actually played it live in a long time. But yeah, a really good song. Very, catchy tune, and I absolutely love it. It's extremely underrated. Alright. Number 8 is the song The Prisoner, from the Number of the Beast album. This song is sort of a love it or hate it type song. There's just 2 different sides. There's no in between. There's people who either love it or hate it. People who love it, like I love it, I'm in that group that I absolutely love it. Now, with that side of the argument, usually, it's said that this song is, just as good as a lot of the other songs on Number of the Beast, which I totally agree with. It's very good, very catchy, and I love that solo in the midsection of the song. Bruce's vocals are amazing. I believe they played this song a few times live. Not that much, but more than once. But yeah, I just absolutely love that song. I don't know why people hate it. Oh, and also, the people who hate it just say it doesn't fit, and that, something about, I don't know, they say it doesn't fit, or they say it's just a very overly cheesy song, which I never thought it was that cheesy of a song. I thought it was, a little bit more than average, catchy Iron Maiden song. but I still love it. Anyway, at number 7 is the song "Another Life" from the album Killers. Out of all the Killer songs, except for maybe one other one, this one seems to get overlooked, not because people hate it or anything, but because it's just one of those songs that's on an album where there's songs that are so good, so amazing, the point where this song can't quite match up, even though in my mind it matches up perfectly. But I know there's a lot of people out there who still love the song, but in their mind it can't quite match up to everything else on the album. It's just a really, really good song. Um, uh, it's just a very energetic song. And that's one of the main things I love about the Poliano era. Everything's super energetic. Yeah, there's some slower songs, but for the most part, it's super energetic and just always pumps you up, gives you a lot of energy to get through your day. But yeah. Um, at number, hold on, I have my list here. Um, at number 6 is the song "Shadows of the Valley" from the album "The Book of Souls." This song, I haven't come across many people who enjoy this song. There's a few, but for the most part, people just sort of think the song is either, really bad or just not, just an average type song. For me, it's one of the best songs on the Book of Souls, really. It has that epicness of other songs on the album, like "The Red and the Black," the title track, "The Book of Souls." If Eternity Should Fail, like it just has that epicness that those other songs have, and I know I just really, really love it. But yeah. At number 5 is the song "Out of the Silent Planet" from the album Brave New World. Um, this is really a weird one because even for people who love the entirety of that album, I love the majority of that album. Maybe one or two songs I don't really care for, but I love most of it. Even for people who actually love the entirety of Brave New World, still kind of just overlook Out of the Silent Planet. Don't know why. I've never come across someone or heard of someone hating the song, so I don't think people hate the song. I just think, just like with Another Life from Killers, it's a song that's good, but a lot of people love the rest of the album so much that this song kind of gets overshadowed. It's a very catchy song. I love the chorus. The beginning section where it starts off very mellow is really, really cool. Just overall, an amazing song. Just extremely underrated and overlooked. Um, Number 4 is "Judas Be My Guide" from Fear of the Dark. Out of all the songs on this on the Fear of the Dark album, again, except for the title track, this is probably the best. Now, for this song, I can see why people overlook this song, because people overlook the album as a whole, a lot of times. Mainly because they're so familiar with 80s Maiden, even like the, post 2000 Maiden, like, they are so familiar with that, and they just don't like the 90s stuff, either from people saying how bad it is, and then, like, them having that thought in their head when listening to that for the first time, or because they were in the 90s and they had a lot of bad experience with really, bad metal in the 90s, which there was actually quite a bit of. But so yeah, people just really toss aside Fear of the Dark, the album as a whole, but then don't really bother to look any further. Like, even people who do just listen to the album once and don't give it a second thought, but listen to it again, and especially with "Judas Be My Guide." It's such a great song. It's actually such a different song compared to the rest of the album, because the rest of the album has some of the more like raw sounding songs, not like Poliano type raw sounding sounds, but it doesn't have that very polished, pristine production that a lot of the '80s albums had, or even like the albums afterwards too. It's sort of slightly, I would kind of say Fear of the Dark as a whole is basically a better attempt at trying to do what they tried to do with No Prayer for the Dying but failed. And the reason why Judas Be My God is kind of not doesn't fit on the album for some reason, the reason being is because it's a song that just doesn't sound like it fits. Like it doesn't have that slight grittiness to it that the rest of the songs do, even Fear of the Dark itself. But it feels like a song that would have been either on like I don't know, Number of the Beast or Peace of Mind, maybe Peace of Mind. It has that very polished nature, but not like the in-your-face, like very opera or no, very big, grand stuff like you would see on like Power Slave or uh, not No Prayer for the Dying, Somewhere in Time. There we go. But yeah, it's just a really good song on an album that's just sort of looked over because of the circumstances. But yeah, even if you don't want to listen to the full album, just at least go back and listen to Judas Be My Guide because it is a very good song. It's definitely worth a listen. But yeah. At number 3, hold on. At number 3 is the song Prowler from their first album. Now, Prowler is a song where it's not really looked over, but it is something. Well, it has its peaks and valleys. Like there's been like no instances where it's gone up in popular. The song's sort of gone up in popularity. People like talk about it, but then it goes back down into obscurity. It's one of those weird songs that like from time to time like it gets its peaks, and then people like talk about it all the time. Then yeah, it's just weird like that. It's like I don't know, say Jawbreaker by Judas Priest. It's one of those songs that has its sort of weird ups and downs in terms of like I dare to say trends in terms of like people like it's a song that people listen to for a bit, then they forget about, then it's popular again, then it's not. I'm not saying bad trends. I'm just trying to give sort of a an understanding of what I mean by how it sometimes people it's a very popular song. Sometimes it's not. It just goes back and forth. But yeah, Prowler's like that, and maybe it's because even though it's the opener to their first album, and it's a very good opener at that, people gravitate more towards like songs like Phantom of the Opera or Iron Maiden or Charlotte the Harlot or songs like that, and then kind of unintentionally sort of not think of Prowler, even though it's such a good song and even better live, especially with the Beast Over Hammersmith version. Um, yeah, it's just such a good song. Great energy, really good guitar riffs, the solo is amazing, and Paul Di'Anno's vocals are just as good as always. Um, but yeah, Prowler's at number 3. At number 2 is Still Life. This song is from their album Peace of Mind, which is an album that is also a love it or hate it. I know there's people who sort of, even though they like The Trooper, they don't like. Alright, hold on. Give me a second. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to take care of something really quick. But it's a song. It's from a song. The song "Still Life" is from an album that people either love it or hate it because there's people who, even though like the earlier stuff, kind of really are at odds with Peace of Mind for whatever reason. But then there are people who love Peace of Mind but still sort of ignore Still Life. And now I don't really have a good grasp on the reasoning for that. Like people, like I've heard uh, um, so many different reasons to the point where I can't keep track of what was said about it. But I know it's something that even Iron Maiden themselves sort of don't really go back to and sort of don't really think of for when they plan songs for live shows. Still Life is something that I believe was only ever played once. Uh, I mean, it was featured on the live album Made in England '88 for their Seventh Son of the Seventh Son tour. That's the only time I could, actually, say for sure that it was played live. Maybe they played it live other times, but I don't think so. It's I love the premise. It's just such a crazy, insane premise. About a guy who's sort of going a little bit insane and sort of hallucinating voices in his head. And hold on, I am really my nose is sort of running today. I'm sorry. All right. I'm so sorry about that. Everything's going wrong today. Um, yeah. It's sort of a song about um a guy going insane, seeing things, hearing things, and the voices in his head tell him to join him in the depths of a lake. And yeah, it just sort of ends badly for him. He just doesn't, dies. But it's such a very, in a way, kind of over the top in terms of lyrics. But it's just so good. It's so one of those things that it wasn't really meant to be a cheesy thing, but it's like it's not so bad as good. It's just how would I describe it? It's goofy. It's not. It wasn't. I don't know if it was supposed to be goofy originally, but it's just so over the top in terms of the story, to the point where you kind of have to chuckle a bit. Like it's kind of goofy, but in a good way, not in an embarrassing or just a bit embarrassing way. That you're like, oh, why do they do this? But yeah, it's just a really good song. It's a little bit goofy at times, but definitely one to check out. At number one. Number one is the song Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone is one of the three songs that originally was on the US version of an album, but then was taken off later releases. The song was originally on the album Killers. Actually, I have the single right here. It was originally on the album Killers, but was taken off. It actually, just like with all three other songs that were taken off of later releases, they appeared on the original versions and then on the '98 re-releases. But then after that, with the 2015 remasters, they were taken off again. But yeah, just a really good song. Definitely has one of, if not the best, Paul Diano vocal performance, at least in terms of him being able to show off his high register vocals. And it's really, really good. Um, I do have the what was it? I'm all over the place today. I do have the Made in Japan live album, and they play that live during their second tour, and it sounds really good. It doesn't have the really creepy reverb effect. Again, because it's not a studio release, but I mean a studio version, but it's really, really, really good. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.